a real delight to be here, and let me kind of add my thanks and congratulations to the Hillman Foundation, not only for bringing together an incredible assortment of entries, but also bringing together an incredible assortment of people. It's really, I really find what's fascinating is how this foundation, this prize, brings together people who are so committed to the kind of journalism that we're honoring. Decades from now, I expect Canadian historians will conclude that this past year, 2015, will have been a turning point for this country. The end of the Harper era, the dawn of Trudeau the Younger and his supposedly sunny ways, and the courageous openness by Canadians from coast to coast to coast in welcoming Syrian refugees into their homes. But I suspect the most enduring legacy of the past year will be none of the above. Instead, 2015 will be remembered as the year when Canadians in all walks of life and Canadian governments at all levels finally started to confront an unopened chapter in this country's history, the story of the Indigenous peoples in Canada. This is a story that hasn't often been well told in Canada. The history, the pain, the legacy, and the lessons. So much has been left unsaid, so much of it pushed to the background for so long. Until this year, it was as if someone had switched on a light. I remember when I was in university aspiring to be a journalist and wondering what kind of journalist I should try to be. I remember reading then what distinguished American journalist Walter Lippmann wrote way back in 1922 about the role of the news media. Journalism should be, in his words, like the beam of a searchlight that moves restlessly about, bringing one episode and then another out of the darkness into vision. That is what happened this year. Finally, the story of the thousands of missing, murdered, and abused Indigenous women and girls in Canada came out of the darkness into vision. And it triggered an aggressive response by Canadian governments at various levels. Change, it seems, may finally be possible. For the 2016 Canadian Hillman Prize in Journalism, we want to celebrate 3 news organizations in particular, which accomplished what was once thought to be impossible. They helped us, as Canadians, to attach an angelic human face to an unimaginable human tragedy that until now seemed incomprehensible and remote. This year's winners of the Hillman Prize are the Globe and Mail for a breathtaking investigation of Canada's missing and murdered Indigenous women that explored root causes, revealed untold stories, and meticulously updated an invaluable database. To Radio-Canada's Enquête program for a powerful television documentary that rocked Quebec by revealing the horrific treatment of Aboriginal women by police officers in the town of Val-d'Or. And the CBC for an unprecedented 6-month investigation on radio, TV, and online that, with drama and impact, explored hundreds of unsolved cases of missing and murdered Indigenous women over the past 60 years. The existence of the Hillman Prize raises these 2 questions. Why does serious journalism in this 24/7, high-voltage, crazy media world of Donald Trump really matter? And what impact do these special series and projects really have on the quality of life for those around us? Well, on the basis of the marvelous entries that we, the judges, were privileged to examine for the Canadian Hillman Prize, the answers are very clear. High-quality journalism does matter, and it is thriving in this country. These special journalistic initiatives are coming at a time when resources are stretched, when the excuses to do nothing are plentiful, and when governments these days, at all levels, self-serving to the core, seem intensely determined to shut the public out. But in spite of this journalism is having a dramatic impact on the quality of our lives, and for that, we should be thankful. This year for the Hillman Prize, we want to celebrate 3 organizations. The Globe and Mail's project was titled A Country's Crisis, Canada's Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women. It featured poignant print stories as well as dramatic multimedia presentations. The Globe series focused on critical areas that exposed Ottawa's failures to link unsolved missing person cases with hundreds of unidentified human remains across the country. And it revealed the stunning number of Indigenous women who were victims of serial killers. Please welcome to the stage to receive the 2016 Canadian Hillman Prize on behalf of his team, Editor-in-Chief of the Globe, David Walmsley. And let's the full team come up.
I'll speak for a few minutes just as a voice for the team. I think, Bruce, in what you said with respect to the history of the Hillman Foundation, you're right, it's not about resources, it's about willingness. It's about choices. And as an editor, I have to make choices. But how can you make a choice not to cover this story? How can you commit to not getting to the bottom of it? The most powerful word in my armory is permanent. It's the word that is generally banned from newsrooms. Permanence means that it outlasts me and it outlasts the thread of the story for this week or this month. Permanent means we stay with this to the very end. And these are the marching orders that the Globe has got. Why are we doing that? We're doing it because it is simply unacceptable that Canada can allow people to go missing. And the implicit racism that is involved in this story should shame all of those who think either complacency or through some form of anesthesia, Canada can carry on without change. It can't. It's unacceptable. The convening power of the Globe, I think, is unique in this country. It has a history of being a national institution older than Canada itself. And we have to do a better job. Because there are journalists in the room, I'll do a little 90 seconds on the methodology of this, because I think it really speaks to the behavior of how we put this together. We first of all realized that we didn't have data. We didn't have data that was consistent. We had overlapping data. We had missing data. We didn't have geographic consistency. So we needed a data journalist, Matt McLaren. We hired him. We also recognized in this digital environment we do not have either all the answers or most of the answers. So we needed an advisory council. We needed experts. And we realized those experts are not Canadians. So we approached a guy called Louis van der Breider, who is the world-leading forensic pathologist who lives in Argentina. Why is he the world's leading forensic pathologist? Because in Argentina they know of the disappeared. And we asked him to come to Canada and teach Canada about human rights. So he joined us last June, and he went on a tour around Toronto and other parts of the country. And he said his findings were astonishing. This is a special type of crime, he taught us. It is against women, and it is against a specific group. You therefore have to investigate it in a special way. We brought police officers, law enforcement into our advisory group, and of course many representatives from the Indigenous communities. Then we needed to make a multimedia operation, and it took us 6 months to put together the findings of The Taken, one of the sub-series, in which we were able to show that you are more likely to die from a serial killer's hands if you're an Indigenous woman. Proof positive. No more speculation, no more lazy discussion. And while I'm the editor, all I can do is set the parameters for the team to be brave and be relentless, and they've been nothing but that. Together with Sinclair Stewart and the national desk of Dana Choquette, Christine Brousseau and Chris Wilson-Smith. The team you have here are the heart and soul of this whole operation. You got Catherine Blaise-Baum, been to Manitoba countless times. The incoming email that she gets and the cry for help are relentless. It is profound work and will stay with us all, I think, always. And Renata D'Alacio. Renata has a very different tangential approach to these things. She doesn't look at just the simple facts. She goes and uncovers the work that others would find too difficult to do. As I say, Matt is involved in the data side of things, and Laura Blenkinsop heavily involved in creating the multimedia with Chris Manza that ensured these stories came alive and crucially could be shared internationally and globally. This isn't a Canadian story. This is where the world's population can help the Globe and Mail, the CBC, and Enquête. In order to teach ourselves the story, we need the expertise of other countries, such as Australia. And Christy Hoffman, who we've lost now to the CBC, but is here tonight with the Globe and Mail. Delighted to have her, a very major talent. Above all, the coordinating editor, Angela Murphy. Where's Angela? Angela has put in countless hours. She is really the true shoulders and the muscle behind this enterprise. And we couldn't have done it without Angela, and we couldn't have done it without the team, and I'm immensely proud and very thankful indeed to the judges and the Hillman Foundation for this opportunity to really amplify a story that will be permanent, and we commit to that forever. Thank you.